this is Alexandria Bolufe. We are the founders of Bolufe Boutique in Meisner Park and on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. I've been doing this all my life. I am a 30-year small business owner, self-made woman. I love to help other entrepreneurs, and this is my time to really reveal who I am and what I do.
And the name of this show is what?
Do you have it?
And what does that mean?
What do you think it means? You can have many things, right?
You have many things, but you might not have it.
It
trumps the many things.
It is the it factor. It's the confidence. It's the security within yourself, no matter how many times you've been put down. It's the drive to get there from 0 to 100 and beyond. That is what the it is. But it's not just the it inside, and of course it begins there. It's also the it on the outside. So, this is what I do. If you have it, let me level it up. I'm going to give you that it on the outside as well.
And the it can go outside in and inside out? It depends?
Absolutely.
The in can bail out the out and vice versa?
And vice versa.
I've always been fascinated by your, not just your drive and your business and your savvy, but your story. If somebody came up to you and said, and you must get this a lot, where are you from?
Yes.
Do you like that question? And what do you think they mean when they ask you that question? What are you? They probably say, what are you a lot.
Well, usually they don't say, what are you? They usually say, where are you from? And then I say, you mean originally? Or where did I grow up? And then I give them two answers. I was born in Hong Kong, came to America at the age of 4 with the American dream, and I carried that responsibility on my back for the whole family.
And why is that? Why did you carry it out? What was your family like?
My family, very strict, very hardworking, very ethical, integrity, honor, and I should never, ever embarrass them and shame them if I wasn't able to carry out the do you have it American dream.
And what made the family move to America? Was it in search of the American dream, or was it to get away from Hong Kong?
No, Hong Kong at that time was ruled by the British. It was wonderful, tremendous opportunity. But, you know, people come to America because this is the land, the greatest land of opportunity, and I still believe that with all my heart. Of course it's hard work. Why would my parents take 4 children and come to America? Because of the dream. And the dream, I should never, never disappoint them in not accomplishing that dream.
Do you remember your first memory of the dream, or what the dream was or could be in America?
Yes, absolutely. I believed with all my heart I would be a businesswoman, entrepreneurial. As time would go on, I would be able to encourage other women to give back, to really make a difference. And that is a long journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes an enormous amount of time. And the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. Mistakes turn into lessons. For me, 1,000%, that's true. Wouldn't you say that, Alexandria?
Yeah.
Even now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Alexandria, when were you aware of your mother's drive and ambition and unique perspective and all of that? Was she always just mom and it's all I knew?
No, she was always a businesswoman. My whole life. It was the store. We had so many stores. She was always working. We were always traveling, working for the store, and I grew up in the business with her.
And when did you become interested in style and fashion? And because that doesn't seem like that's something you were born into. How did that happen? What was the spark?
Well, I knew somehow, something, I would definitely be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I was going to be successful but of course it would be something. So when did the fashion come into my mind? Well, when I was 10 years old, because I had to help my parents, I helped my mom in the sewing factory. And there were maybe 500 women there. And I learned everything in a matter of weeks, how to put a garment together, what it looks like a puzzle of 30 pieces, the threads, the buttons, the steaming, the lock stitching, everything I could learn. I would watch my mom carefully. Now, I didn't want to be there forever because once she discovered that I was so talented, she would never let me leave. So I became a hardworking 10-and-a-half-year-old.
But what kind of style did you have as a 10-and-a-half-year-old personally? Did you have style, or you were just interested in fashion more from the business side of it? Because sometimes, you go get a haircut and they might not have the best hair. They might be like I do unto others. But did you have a certain sense of style at a young age?
I believe I always had style. I wasn't allowed to really wear the styles that I liked. It depended on the year, the trends. Sometimes, as a child, the clothes might look inappropriate for someone that really has an eye for fashion. I believe I always had the eye. But where did it begin? It began there, and then I would see on television the red carpet. All the celebrities walking the red carpet. When I looked on to that screen, I'd think, wow, that's what we made for them. One day, I will walk the red carpet, and I will style those celebrities. And here we are, fast forward. That's exactly what happened.
And what was the moment or time period where you got confident that you're like, I have it and I can do this for a living. I can make it doing this in this business, because it is a brutal business, especially as a woman, and you're a mom and there's a lot going on. When were you like, you know what, I can do this and I will do this? How old were you then?
Well, actually, from my first memory, I was probably 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I do remember that I wanted to sell magazines to my little sister. And I said, I'll give it to you for a nickel. All right, never mind, I'll give it to you for a penny. And she would just look at me, and I already knew I had that instinctual entrepreneur type of moment. That exact moment I remember. I remember what we were wearing, what I looked like, what I said to her, and how she just gazed at me. Okay, I'll give it to you for a penny if you don't have 5 cents.
Making deals.
Making deals.
Yeah, we had a guy on a podcast the other day. He said he was a realtor, big real estate developer. He says his first real estate deal that he can remember was getting the bigger bedroom from his older brother. And doing that, because that was I first understood real estate. Were you, Alex, were you born into this too? Did you have the same drive? Do you think you were at the same path as your mom, or you just kind of emulated her and got caught up in her passion? Because not only is she talented, she's extremely passionate about what she does and who she does it with.
Well, I always loved the business growing up, and growing up I wanted to be in it. And then she always actually convinced me not to be, because it's hard work, it's long hours, it's not as easy as it looks, and it's not as fun as it looks. But after I graduated college, I went and had my own careers and came back.
And why didn't you want that from her? Because of that very reason, it's hard work and...
This is blood, sweat, and tears. To be on top after 30 years, this is my 30th year, you have to be extraordinary, hardworking, work harder than anyone else, be diligent, have passion. This is not something that you can just make it into a hobby. No such thing. To be doing this for 30 years and to have the tremendous loyalty of so many thousands and thousands of people takes hard work, dedication, and you have to also evolve with the times, because doing this for 30 years, you do have to evolve. What's in style now? What will they wear next year? What are the colors the year after? And you can't really allow yourself to stay in one place. You have to know what's going on in the rest of the world. It's an international thing. This is hard work. This is not for the weak. This is not a hobby that someone gives you $100,000 to build a store. This is life, and you have to live it and breathe it to be this successful. And
you're always kind of doing that balance. You have to recognize and follow certain trends, but you're also trying to push trends in a certain direction. You're also saying, like, I'm the trendsetter, while recognizing as the world evolves and people's tastes evolve and whatever. And you always have to have that balance, right?
Well, that's quite simple because my 30 years in the store, the people that I've met, I know their taste. First of all, these people love to travel. They love to eat. They love to be seen, and they love to see people. So they want to look their best. They fly on jets. They come here to visit us. They book appointments with me. And believe it or not, most people don't know this, but we have evolved to help the CEO man. The CEO man is who I really style as a celebrity fashion stylist. Of course, I style the women as well. But that CEO, that big CEO that makes millions of dollars, has his own jet, drives a Rolls Royce, Maserati. He doesn't know what a contemporary successful man looks like.
Right.
He's still wearing a suit or an oversized jacket. So my specialty now, it's evolved again. See, as the years go by, the business evolves.
Can you ever turn it off? Or if you are out in the world, are you always assessing trends, people's appearance, body language? Are you always on?
Yes. You're always looking.
You're always looking. Do you approach strangers?
No.
No.
I don't want to embarrass anyone. I don't really mention it, but when I do see someone that is successful, like yesterday, if this is okay to say, I'm a trustee at the Boca Chamber. I went to a beautiful luncheon. There's 3 CEO men, big time, sitting on the board. And what I can do for them, they definitely have it. They have something, big time. But how can I level it up? Completely change their shoes, their pants, their shirt, the jacket, even the
whole
haircut.
outfit.
Even the haircut. Because that's what I do when a CEO man comes in. It's not just his clothing. I'm going to tell him how to modernize his look, his hair.
See, I think that's flattering as a man. I think the fact that you notice it all and think that there's a level that we could rise to, and you're taking the interest in us and saying, you're this, but you can go here. I think that's great. Like, as a man, I would be flattered by that. We know we are beyond our capabilities solo. One of the most interesting things about you that I've learned, because lots of people know you in all over, but especially South Florida, you're a very big personality. You're very beautiful. You're very noticeable. But for 26-ish of the 30 years that you've been doing this, you were not out front. And suddenly something happened and you became the face of your brand and business. What triggered that?
Okay, growing up in my family, which it's a very strict Chinese family, we are not to boast. We are not to talk about anything that hasn't happened yet. We're very reserved. Integrity, again, honor is everything. There's no need to talk about oneself. Success will be noticed. And that's the way I grew up. So, yes, that is correct. I have all these accolades, so many press releases from newspapers, magazines, all over South Florida, Palm Beach Post, Sun Sentinel, Entrepreneur Magazine, so many. I hid all of those plaques in my office. I didn't want to appear boisterous. But 4 years ago, I was told by multiple people, what is this doing in your office? Especially a gentleman that I met, that I'm with now, said to me, this is ridiculous. You have to show the world what you've accomplished. So he put it in the window, and it's all over the store now. Now I am so big on the internet because when COVID happened is when I really decided, let me put myself out there on Instagram, Facebook, and it blew up.
Yeah, I'm sure. And did you notice this? Were you always noticing, well, your mom wasn't really... I mean, it's not that you're shy. You're just letting the work do the talking for you, a lot of it. Were you always trying to advise her, like, Mom, you should do this? Or was it just sort of... Or were you more like, Mom, do not do that?
Well, in terms of like the plaques in the store and all of that, she would, whenever people came in, she would pretend she wasn't the owner. And it's funny because since I've come into the business, I do the same thing. I don't let anyone know that I'm, part owner of the
And that's
business.
the Chinese upbringing in you. It's the humble.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
But it definitely changed after COVID with the Facebook Live shows. That's when she was like, all right, I'm putting myself out there. And I supported that completely because our doors were closed. I was like, we have to.
People want to know who the personality is. They want to understand you. They want to work with you. And they want to see you have style. So it's like, she can help me. And, clothes are very two-dimensional. You're four-dimensional. So I think that's, I understand the not wanting to be the talent necessarily, but now you're Facebook Living, you're doing this podcast, I'm sure cameras chase you down the street sometimes. You're always very aware of how you look when somebody comes in. You always have to look your best. You have to show that you have it so you can discover if they have it, right?
Yes. And that's correct. When COVID happened, that is when it really changed my mindset. We are in America. I don't have to be that little humble Chinese girl that grew up with the rules that my parents gave me. So once I did open it up and let the world know, Bolufe, the brand Bolufe, is Kim Bolufe. And when the world discovered that, and thousands of people walked through my doors, the respect level, the loyalty of my customer is beyond gratitude, appreciation. People shop with me and book appointments with me because of their loyalty to me. A self-made, hardworking woman that always puts the customer first.
And I also think that during COVID, like there was more of a small business movement, and that totally, helped us push ourselves into that direction. Everyone wanted to shop small. They loved that we were a small business. They wanted to support us because of that.
Yeah. And you brought up the hardworking thing. So obviously you are in an industry and a business that seems super fun, and fashion is fun and clothes are fun and people like it. Obviously it's very hard, very challenging on a lot of levels. What is something that is a lot harder than I think you think people would expect? What would be surprisingly difficult? I know the hours and the business and everything. Is there something that you'd be surprised how hard this part of my day is?
Okay. Well, I can answer that there's many things that are hard, but if we were just to choose one, okay. First of all, you have to keep the store unique. The merchandise has to be different than everyone else out there. Let's use a CEO, for example. When he comes in, he can't think that what he's going to find in Bolufe Boutique is an average jacket that you can get off the rack in a department store. When he comes in and he's so conservative, he's going to have to allow me to show him how I can level up his look, not by one notch, 2, 3, I'm talking 100 times. I am so confident when I say that. When he comes in, the way the jacket fits him, and then the colors that he's not used to. He's usually used to gray, blue, black. No, not at Kim Bolufe's Bolufe Boutique. He is going to come out at least 5 years younger in appearance, 100 times more confident and loyal forever. And he brings all of his friends. The hardest part is when they walk into the door, they have to believe what I'm saying and what I'm presenting is going to pretty much take them outside of their box, transform them, basically.
And the biggest mistake that most men make is size wrong. They go too big. We all go too big.
Too big.
Tell them, Alexandria.
We think it makes us look slimmer, but it does
Yes,
not.
It
Opposite.
ages you real quick and does not make you look slimmer at all.
That's it, right? It's size and color. I think men are sometimes afraid of color.
Absolutely.
Yes. Men love blue, black, and gray.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Yes.
it.
And I put them in
Purple.
beautiful blues, beautiful plum, beautiful. The gray would be like a charcoal with a shocking color on the pocket square.
Right.
Remember, pocket square and a tie and socks is the man's personality.
Yeah.
So that's where you would take it to another level.
We had a guy in here, 26 years old. He'd never worn a tie, ever. We're losing the tie generation.
That is
Yes.
the generational thing.
You know, the
I just
pocket
went-
square came back. You know, pocket squares were not as ubiquitous as they are now years ago. But it's you can do things with socks that
Oh, yeah.
that show a little pop of color. We're so used to being you're the picture, we're the frame, that we think that we are just there to sort of accessorize in some way. We could be better accessories, though, right?
Absolutely. Even the man's bracelet. I did it on the show last night. It was so beautiful. Men that saw this, and remember, on my show, they are authentic customers. These are men that come in and get styled by me. They look so incredibly different or enhanced, they end up on the show. So he had a bracelet on. The audience loved it. A man's beautiful contemporary bracelet. So a lot of people called in for the bracelet.
And what is the biggest either mistake or challenge when it deals with women, styling women? What is the one thing that if you just could take all the women and say, like, you guys got to stop doing this, or you need to do this? Is there
They're
one thing?
so mean to themselves.
Oh, really?
Every woman is so hard on themselves. They say horrible things about themselves, and it's hard to reframe your mind to not think that way.
So it's a self-esteem issue.
Yes.
She's
Every
she's
woman
her
has
own
something.
worst critic.
Yeah, every woman has something.
Huh. And how do you get somebody to tap in and discover it, that they have it? What is the pep talk? Or is it just a mirror and putting them in the right things and they can see it?
Mostly it's the mirror, and I have styled thousands of women. And sometimes if they come in, they feel uncomfortable because they gained a lot of weight, they've had children. And what happens is I show them that by wearing something flowy and tightening it up just a little bit, they actually look contemporary and more youthful. I've styled thousands of women that become so loyal to me because what they're looking at in the mirror is something they always say, I never thought I could wear this. Even yesterday on the show, we had this beautiful girl on the show, but she only wore black and white. When she came in, she said, okay, I'll be open-minded, but I usually just wear black and white. I said, I'm going to take you outside of your box, just a little. She brought everything I styled her in, live, in front of everyone. Thousands of people saw this show, and it was all color. Nothing she would ever expect, and she said to everyone on the show, I would never have thought I could wear these colors.
And she would never pick it out herself. And her
she-
husband loved it.
Yeah, everything changes when you get a little bit outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
You shake it up. You start talking to people you never thought you'd talk to. You start ordering things off a menu you never thought you'd like, and you wear something different. That's why I always talk about the one day of the year in America that the most people are the most confident. You know what that day is?
New Year's?
Halloween.
Oh,
Because Halloween, you are liberated to be anything you want to be without fear of judgment.
true.
Nobody asks why you're wearing that on Halloween. And people, if they could take that costume confidence into the other 364 days of the year and have fun and show personality, maybe take chances and get out, I think that trickles into your whole life.
Absolutely. That is true.
What you're based in South Florida, Boca Raton. You deal with people all over the world, but is there a certain style that is uniquely this part of the world? Is there a South Florida look that is better than probably the stereotype is? So it's not cruise wear. Is there a certain, South Florida style in a good way?
Yes. South Florida style, Boca Raton and Delray Beach. Again, these people love to live life. They live big. They go to the best restaurants, order fancy, beautiful drinks. They stare at everyone, and they love to be stared at, and they travel the world. So when they come to see me, sometimes they say, like last week I had a man flew a helicopter just to see me, books an appointment with me and says, I'm going to Italy for a wedding, and I'm going to Poland for another wedding, and I have a fundraiser. I need 3 amazing outfits. Now, he was a very good-looking, handsome man, and not all men are good-looking and handsome. There's all shapes and sizes.
I hear you. I can hear you. These are microphones.
And what is the look that South Florida has? Confidence, color, alive, contemporary, new. ever changing, forever changing. It's not stagnant. It's not the same. You don't want to wear a vintage coat that you've been saving for 10 years, hoping it'll come back in style 10 years later, because that vintage coat, jacket, will have something about it that looks like it's vintage. Because even if we take the silhouettes, say a man's jacket, and fast forward it to 2023, now the shoulders have been extended, the waist is slightly tapered, now the buttons are all contrasting, the colors are different, big pocket square. So you might have had something like that 10 years ago, but you're still going to age yourself wearing that.
And
Probably boxy.
yeah, and you've also seen this community, this city, this part of the world become so much more dynamic and vibrant. It used to be, a retirement community. And the stereotype was true and sleepy. There are people here who have come here to seek their fortune and come here once they've made their fortune, and they have life in them, and they have, like I said, vibrancy, and that's changed during your lifetime, and that's changed during your career. You've noticed that, right? The old Boca stereotype is gone.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. Our clients are from all over the world. They are metropolitan, and they are savvy, and they are all different age groups. Big CEOs, the wives of CEOs. They are
Snowbirds. There's a lot of snowbirds now.
and snowflakes. And when we say snowflakes, if everyone doesn't know what that is, that's someone that flies in every 2-3 weeks.
It's a South Floridian term.
Your clothes they're not inexpensive, but they're not inaffordable for anybody.
Correct.
Is there a certain customer who came in and just spent an insane amount of money one time? I know that happens to you all the time, but is there one that was just like, we have nothing left? Did you ever have an experience, male or female, like that like you got to sit down to talk about, they bought 45 bags of clothes?
Yes.
Just yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You come to mind.
as you mentioned, it is true. It's not expensive. It's not Kmart or Walmart, but it's not Louis Vuitton.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhere in between. It is well worth it. It is so worth it that you just have a smile on your face because of the looks and the stares you get when you walk out. I promise this. I know this with all my heart. This is what I do. Right, Alexandria? Mm-hmm. They absolutely love it.
And it's like a one-stop shop, which they love about that. You get the whole outfit, you hang it up in your closet just how we prepared it for you, and it's easy. You don't have to go anywhere else.
You're a handful of pieces away from having it or discovering it or unleashing it, right?
Unleashing it.
All right, tell everybody about the Facebook Live show. Tell them what you want to get out of doing this podcast, and then you're going to give her a little pearl.
Okay. Facebook Live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. And what I do on that show is show you an authentic customer, male, female, couple that we style, and we show you all the styling tips. And it's a fun show. It's high energy, and I talk about everything. My travels with Alexandria to Italy and back. And podcasts? Why am I doing the podcast? This will be the first time that I really reveal who I really am and how I got here. This is about the journey, not so much about the destination. And for all those entrepreneurs out there that are listening to this, women or men, if you want to start, this is about our journey. And the pearl?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not worry about the money right now. Make sure you do something that you're so passionate about. Because when you're passionate about your business or something that you have found that you really enjoy and fulfills you, the money will come. Just remember that. You have to have a passion for what you do.
That was good. See, this wasn't so hard, right?
No.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay, they can find us, of course, in Meisner Park, Boca Raton. We've been there almost 30 years, right? We've come back. We also are on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. We've been there for 10 years. and we're right next to Capital One, right on Atlantic Avenue. And of course, you can find us on our website, bolufeboutique.com, and Instagram, Bolufe Boutique, and Facebook as well.
Good job, you guys, right?
Yeah.
Fun?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Tell everybody to like, share, and please review this podcast.
Yes. Like, share, and please review. If you like this, you'll hear much more of this. I'll give you podcasts every week about my journey, my 30-year journey from 0 to 100. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Mwah. Show me the love.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.